President Joe Biden is taking executive action on reproductive health care.
The practice of medicine should not be frozen in the 19th century.
The orders he just signed to protect access to abortion. And funerals for the victims of a 4th of July parade shooting begin today as survivors try to move forward.
We have each other. We will lean on each other. We will lift each other up.
The summer heat is here. Afternoon highs today expected in the 90s. We could hit triple digits this weekend.
Plus, the high price of food is hurting Colorado food banks.
So far this year, we've had to spend about 3 times more than our typical food purchasing budget.
Now there's a way you can help make sure people in need have food for their families.
It just feels like, it's going to be difficult for the next 18 months, 2 years.
We cannot allow an out-of-control Supreme Court working in conjunction with extremist elements of the Republican Party to take away freedoms.
New at 11, President Joe Biden using his executive powers to protect access to abortion. The order instructs the DOJ and Health and Human Services to push back on efforts to limit the ability of women to get abortion medication or to travel across state lines for abortion services. It also protects access to contraceptives and healthcare privacy.
The court and its allies are committed to moving America backwards with fewer rights, less autonomy, and politicians invading their most personal decisions. Remember, the reason of the decision has an impact much beyond Roe and the right to privacy generally. Marriage equality, contraception, and so much more is at risk.
The executive order comes 2 weeks after the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. The president also told people to vote in the upcoming election so that there can be enough votes in the Senate to codify Roe versus Wade. Our governor signed an executive order earlier this week that protects women who might be prosecuted for getting an abortion here in Colorado. The executive order protects Colorado workers from facing any disciplinary action for providing reproductive health care, including abortions. It also makes it clear that the state won't cooperate with any criminal or civil cases in other states for women seeking abortions here in Colorado unless there's a court order. The governor also signed the Reproductive Health Equity Act earlier this year to codify abortion into our state statute. Switching gears right now, we are taking a live look outside from our Mile High camera. It's almost 11:03, just a gorgeous day. Lots of sunshine on this Friday morning. And Stacy, really already starting to feel like summer out there.
That's right. It's going to be very hot here across Colorado as we go into the weekend. Afternoon highs today will be in the 90s, and we have lots of sunshine out there for us here for the Front Range. And going into the next 24 hours, we are going to have afternoon highs that are going to be in the 90s, and then we're going to be in the triple digits. So keep that in mind. But as we go into today, 93 degrees will be that afternoon high, and we are going to experience some very warm weather here into the coming days. As I mentioned, triple digits this weekend. So highs today here for the Front Range in the low to mid 90s all the way along the I-25 corridor, and then tomorrow we will have afternoon highs right around 100. So be prepared, drink a lot of water, and keep that sunscreen with you. I'll let you know how long this triple digit heat will stick around coming up.
Loved ones in Illinois are preparing to say their final goodbyes to the victims of Monday's 4th of July parade shooting. The first funerals and memorials start today for the 7 people who were killed. Morgan Norwood reports.
We're learning more about those horrific moments in the aftermath of that July 4th massacre in Highland Park, Illinois. What was a yearly tradition for the Roberts family, ending in tragedy.
Keely and Cooper were both shot that day, and Luke also suffered injuries from shrapnel.
Family friend Anthony Loizzi says Luke has been treated and released from the hospital, but his twin brother Cooper remains in critical condition on a ventilator. Doctors now fearing he may be permanently paralyzed.
Cooper was shot in the chest, and he suffered significant injuries including a severed spinal cord.
As those injured continue to recover, investigators now digging into the suspect's background and any possible misread flags. According to newly released police records, the Highland Park Police Department issued a report calling the alleged shooter, Robert Cremo III, a clear and present danger. That was 3 years ago, after family members claimed he was threatening to kill everyone. But a later review found there was not enough evidence to support a clear and present danger determination, so Cremo was able to pass later background checks for his gun purchases. Yet the suspect's father, who says he did not live with his son and claims he was not aware of incidents of violence, sponsored his application for a gun license before he was 21. Robert Cremo Jr. talking with ABC News.
Making threats to the family, I think it was taken out of context where it's like just a child outburst, whatever he was upset about.
His son now behind bars, charged with 7 counts of first-degree murder. The heartbroken families of those killed preparing to say their last goodbyes.
And as authorities continue to investigate, multiple services and funerals are being held today. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Highland Park, Illinois.
The group Rocky Mountain Gun Owners is suing Superior. They say new gun restrictions that went into effect last month are unconstitutional. Superior's gun laws ban assault weapons and magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. The town passed the laws after the shooting in Uvalde, Texas. The lawsuit cites a recent Supreme Court decision which struck down a part of a New York concealed carry law. The decision said governments can regulate but can't prohibit the public from carrying guns for a purpose of self-defense by law-abiding citizens. The lawsuit also targets a state law passed after the Boulder King super shooting that gives local governments the authority to regulate guns. We reached out to the town for comment. One of the trustees says that they can't comment yet because they have not been served the lawsuit. Longmont United Church of Christ is giving away free gun safes tomorrow. That's happening from 9 to noon at the Longmont Safety and Justice Center parking lot. The safes will be to hold 2 handguns. The church is partnering with Longmont Public Safety and other organizations for the event. New at 11, the partner of a former Aurora police chief, Vanessa Wilson, made her first court appearance this morning. Robin Nicita is accused of falsely reporting that an Aurora City Council member named Danielle Jurinsky abused her child. Well, today a judge issued a protection order so that Nicita can't go near her. We'll hear from Jurinsky coming up this afternoon on Denver 7 News at 4. Inflation and gas prices are the top priorities Americans want the government to address in the new year. An AP survey found 40% of Americans were concerned about inflation. A third were concerned about gas prices. Another 9% also mentioned food prices. Nearly half of the public says neither political party is doing a good job at getting those things done. Inflation isn't just hurting our budgets. Food banks are also seeing the impact of higher prices at the grocery store. And as Denver 7's Veronica Acosta reports, food banks are struggling to keep the shelves full.
Chicken, ground beef, lettuce, even canned goods, they used to be fully stocked at the Health and Hope Center food pantry. People used to be able to come in, grab whatever they needed, and then go on about their days. But recently, things have changed. Because of supply chain issues, big box stores, they can't donate what they used to be able to. That means spots like Health and Hope Center, they have to dip into their own money reserves and buy some of those very necessary items.
So far this year, we've had to spend about 3 times more than our typical food purchasing budget, just because of the supply chain issues and that. And so that being a nonprofit and, living on a very tight margin, that's money we actually don't have that we're spending.
Dan Marlowe told me before those supply chain issues, as well as inflation, the group used to be able to spend between $1,500 and $2,000 on those extra items. Now they're spending more than double that, close to $5,000. When we visited the pantry, it was out of chicken with no idea when they'd be able to get some of that back from their donating partners. Those partners include spots like Sam's Club, Target, even Safeway. Marlowe said they used to get multiple pallets of donated food from them. Now they're lucky if they get maybe one. It's the same story over at the Food Bank of the Rockies, which is not only responsible for providing some food to those smaller pantries, but also distributing its own supply to those in need, which, of course, they're seeing more of right now.
More people are needing help with food assistance than even pre-COVID because they're getting hit at the register. They're having to make choices between putting food on the table for their family and paying their rent.
So if you're asking yourself this morning, well, how can I help? Both the Health and Hope Center as well as Food Bank of the Rockies say monetary donations, they go a really long way right now. They use all of that money to buy those really necessary items. Again, things like chicken, ground beef, even vegetable oil. In Denver, I'm Veronica Acosta, number 7.
Veronica, thank you. Inflation is also causing the price of stamps to go up. The U.S. Postal Service is raising prices by 2 cents starting Sunday. That means a forever stamp will cost 60 cents. The Postal Service is also already planning for the holidays. The Denver Post Office is holding a hiring fair tomorrow for mail carriers. It's from 9:30 to 4 at the Denver Mail Facility near 53rd in Quebec. People are feeling anxious about climate change. Still ahead, we're taking a look at what's being called eco-anxiety and the impact it's having on our mental health. Plus, a former politician is killed. What we're learning about the assassination of Japan's former prime minister.